Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Spooky season is here, and with that we are talking about Mike Flanagan's latest horror series hitting Netflix next month called The Fall of the House of Usher.
Who are you? Consequence. And tonight is consequential.
Based on the works of Edgar Allen Poe, ruthless siblings Roderick and Madeline Usher have built Fortunato Pharmaceuticals into an empire of wealth, privilege, and power. But past secrets come to light when the heirs to the Usher dynasty start dying at the hands of a mysterious woman from their youth. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Mike Flanagan, which I imagine if you're watching this video, you most likely are. If you're a horror fan, you know who he is. The guy has been putting out a number of projects for Netflix over the past several years. He's had a contract with them. He's done The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, The Midnight Club, and now we have The Fall of the House of Usher, which is hitting Netflix in October. And this is going to be his final series at Netflix. This concludes his contract with them. He is now going over to Prime Video. Can't wait to see what he does there. Huge Mike Flanagan fan. Anytime he puts something out, I'm going to check it out. As far as films go, Dr. Sleep, one of my favorite modern horror films, especially like the past, 10 years for sure. Absolutely love that movie. I gotta watch that soon again. But he's got other films including Oculus, Ouija 2, and a bunch of other movies. The guy, not only is he one of my favorite directors in the horror genre, but he's just one of my favorite directors working currently, period. Having said that though, I will say that I wasn't like a huge fan of The Haunting of Bly Manor or The Midnight Club. I did enjoy both of those, but compared to some of the other projects like Midnight Mass, The Haunting of Hill House, I definitely think those were a little bit higher as far as how I enjoyed them. So, but without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about The Fall of the House of Usher. And this is not going to have any spoilers, obviously, where this review is coming out before the series hits, so you guys don't have to worry about that. So the series opens up with a man named Augie. He gets a phone call telling him to meet the head of the Usher family at this old abandoned house where Roderick Usher tells him he is going to confess to everything. And we also end up finding out that all of Roderick's kids are dead at this point. And so with each episode, Roderick proceeds to tell Augie how each one of his children have died. And without going into specifics, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. I will just say that each one of these episodes ties into a specific Poe story. And if you guys are a fan of his work, I think that you'll be able to recognize each one. And so after this, we go back in time a little bit and we get introduced to the members of the Usher family. And my God, these people are some of the biggest pieces of shit. We don't necessarily see it right away, but you kind of do in a way. But as the episode goes on, or episodes go on and more is revealed, you're just sitting there and you're going, wow, what an awful group of people here. Minus there's a couple characters that aren't. They're kind of like the outsiders of the Usher family, and you'll see once you watch the series, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about, but otherwise, everyone else, you don't really feel too bad once they start getting knocked off. And if you guys are fans of Mike Flanagan's, you're familiar with his work, you know that he likes to work with a lot of the same people on his different projects, and The Fall of the House of Usher is no different from that. You have an all-star cast of all his previous projects, but you also have some newcomers that are working with him, including Mark Hamill, which is really cool to see him in here, but also people like Willa Fitzgerald, Mary McDonnell, etc. And being a huge Dr. Sleep fan, I was so excited to see Kylie Curran, Katie Parker, Carl Umbry to come back here, just to see them working with Mike Flanagan again. It makes me want to see more of that Dr. Sleep world, and it sucks because I know we are not going to get that, unfortunately, because of the failure of the box office that Dr. Sleep had. There was supposed to be like a prequel or something that was supposed to happen, but that got canceled once the film didn't do it well at the box office. But it's probably my favorite project from Mike Flanagan that he's done to date. So it's just great to see these actors working with him again. And if you guys are a fan of that film, I'm sure you'll kind of be in the same boat that I was. And I know some people can kind of maybe complain about Mike Flanagan or other directors working with some of the same people from project to project. But honestly, that's one of my favorite things with Mike Flanagan, because you get to see these actors stretch their acting chops and play these different characters. And there's so many good performances here. Honestly, this cast, it is loaded. It's an all-star cast. I could go from top to bottom. Everyone deserves credit here. But as far as standouts go, I will say that Bruce Greenwood and then Carla Gugino, she is just a fucking powerhouse, man. She absolutely kills this character. I won't say much about the character that she plays. I will just tell you guys that she does play a very important role throughout the series. And man, yeah, I'm getting ready to watch it again, and every time that she is on screen, she is just mesmerizing.
I'm gonna head out. I've got an appointment with your dad.
As far as the horror aspects go, I would say this is probably the most brutal and in-your-face that I feel like Mike Flanagan has been. There are some scenes where there is a ton of gore, and just the way that some of these people get killed off, even though a lot of them are pieces of shit, the way that they get killed off is pretty mean. And I will just say there are some really good jump scares planted throughout the series. I'm not usually a huge fan of jump scares, but these ones in here, I think that they really work, and a couple of them actually really got me. And just as a heads up, I know most of you guys, you're probably not going to be having your kids watching this, but if you were kind of thinking about letting any of your kids watch this, I would just say that this is definitely not a show for kids. There is a good amount of nudity here. There's obviously drugs, alcohol, gore I already mentioned. So just a heads up, if before you're kind of maybe letting some of your younger kids watch it, you might want to just think twice about doing that. And guess what, guys? The Flanagan monologues, they are back. If you guys weren't a fan of those in Midnight Mass, well, unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with them here. I actually really enjoyed them and thought they were really well written. So you do have a number of those that pop up in the series as well. And as far as the story goes, I really enjoyed how each episode focused on a particular member of the Usher family. And then they also kind of focused on a particular story of Edgar Allan Poe. But at the same time, they still interweaved the main kind of plot points throughout the whole series, throughout each episode. And so I thought they did a good job of, being able to balance that. And then they were able to put those all together at the very end, and I thought the show wrapped up really nicely. Overall, Flanagan has done it once again, adapting famous pieces of horror literature from the page to the screen, while also adding his own twist to the source material and modernizing them. The Fall of the House of Usher is up there with some of my favorite pieces of Flanagan's work to date, and I'm already beginning my second viewing of the show. So overall, as far as the score goes, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I'm already on my second viewing of this series. I can't wait for you guys to check it out and to give your thoughts. Once you do, I'm definitely curious to hear what your guys' score is, where you rank it as far as his series that he's done for Netflix. And also, I'm curious what your favorite story is from the individual episodes in the series. So let me know down below in the comments. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. I got a lot of stuff coming for spooky season here, a couple of early reviews that I can't wait to share with you guys. And as always, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.